All right, folks, it's Tuesday. It's a few minutes after 7, and we are waiting for Matt, who just finished up the customer, and we're going to talk tattoos today. But we want to kind of swing back from last week because we had Jerky McJerkinson, and there were that was a great interview. Have you guys watched that one? I hope that you guys are signing on. And
he's on right now.
Who's that? Oh,
Zach.
Hey, how you doing, Zach? Anyways, there were a lot of a number of paintings. I think the most paintings that were ever given away last week live. But we have this one, which we're giving away to all shares. Beth, are you seeing that?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Very good.
But all the shares are in this hat, and we're gonna pick as Matt's kind of finishing up. You gonna pick one out of there? Open up right there on camera.
Wait, there's multiple. Sorry. Jessica Snyder. You win.
Jessica, congratulations. If you'll send us your address, we'll get this out. And thank you, Zach, for the interview last week. It was an awesome one. I think a lot of those ideas were ones that that felt new to me, even though that you may have been kind of applying different thoughts throughout your career. But as we do this, I think that if you guys share out, there's going to be. Hey Matt, what's the giveaway this week?
$60 tattoo.
Woo!
$60 tattoo for King Crow Tattoo. So for everybody who shared, we'll put your name in the hopper.
Mindy's on here. I feel like she's going to share and try and win a $60 tattoo.
Yeah, and Matt's a great tattoo artist. If you guys saw the kind of the advertisement, we had expected that Harry Lawrence was going to be joining us, but he is sick, and so it's going to be Matt, I, Beth, and then all of you as well. Beth, I'm going to hand this to you just so we can move that with the other stuff so we don't forget to take that away. Have you guys been seeing, sometimes I feel like I'm spamming a little bit by sending out that invite for the February 1st, that's a Saturday, for that event at the Maple Grove. I send it out quite a few times for a number of reasons. One is because I want people to see it if they haven't already. And for those who may have already seen it, I apologize if you see it scrolling past a couple times over the past few weeks. I'm also announcing those people who will be there. And Zach Jerky will not be there because he's got a showing down at his gallery. While Matt is finishing up, for anybody who has any questions, and for anybody who has any comments, please leave those. Oh, let's see what that is, Matt.
Ah, very nice.
And are you able to see that?
Mm-hmm.
And we're not in reverse, so this is going to be the giveaway. Yep. So everybody who shares, we'll put your name into a drawing, and then we'll pull your name next week.
It can go towards the tattoo or be the full payment of depending on what size tattoo you want to get.
Gotcha. Well, thank you, Matt. You can sit here wherever you want. And but for those who haven't seen the invite, we're doing a gathering at the Maple Grove Tavern this Saturday.
In Maple Heights.
Maple Heights from 9 until midnight. We're going to arrive earlier, so there's going to be karaoke, and I think when people get an opportunity to put their mouth to a mic, strange things happen.
I can get that drunk.
But we're looking forward to it. Matt, you're going to be there?
Yep, I will be there.
There's going to be some of your special effects makeup work there as well. And so we're excited to see the warden's wife will be there in person for a strong, tall presence, as well as kind of showcasing some of your work. Thank you guys for joining us today. We were a few minutes behind, but I know that when you're in the business,
Apologize.
when you're in the business of tattoo, it's like when a customer comes through, right? You take them.
Right.
But we hope that you guys feel free to throw out questions, comments, but with that, man, I'm going to ask a few questions. One is do you have tattoos?
I have one.
One tattoo.
Yeah. The only reason why I don't have more is because my psoriasis doesn't really allow me to.
Gotcha.
When I got this one years ago, I had the psoriasis wasn't too bad, so I went ahead and said I'm going to go ahead and get a tattoo, and the psoriasis ended up growing through it and kicked out the ink. It doesn't happen a lot on a lot of people. I got a buddy of mine who's had psoriasis forever, and his ink stayed, but for some reason, for me, it kicked part of it out.
Kicked out.
So, I mean, I'm still going to try. Once I can get it back under control again, I'm going to go ahead and give it another shot. Why not? But that's the only reason why I don't have more.
Oh, you don't have more, huh?
Yeah, I probably would be sleeved out by now if it wasn't for that.
You're a makeup artist.
Yeah.
Makeup artist first, tattoo artist was after you became a
Yeah.
makeup artist.
Yeah.
Was there any relation to those two?
Well, I mean, I thought because I could airbrush that tattooing wouldn't be difficult at all. And there's similarities, but there's definitely a lot of differences. I mean, you still have to work with the canvas constantly moving around as you're trying to paint, but or tattoo. But other than that, I mean, it was like I figured, well, okay, I can do art, so picking up a machine would be cakewalk, no problem. And at the beginning, it got super frustrating. It was almost to the point where it wasn't as easy as I wanted it to be. So I was about ready to be like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this. But there's been a lot of times with tattooing where I've pulled off that piece that you look at and go, damn, that's pretty good. Pardon my language, but and more and more, you know, especially when you get into the stuff that you really like to do. Yeah. Like I found myself being more into the detail stuff. You know, using a three-liner to get in there and get all those fine details. Where my boss Harry, he's kind of like, he's old school. He's been tattooing for 39 years, and he's like, I know you can keep that stuff. If I have to resort to that, I quit. You know, so he likes doing all the power pieces, and then I go in there and I do all the finesse pieces. So it makes for fun. So.
But that's kind of your style too, I think, right? Is the detail and the softness and realism, right?
Yeah, I've always tried being that detail whore. No matter what I've done, no matter what artwork I've done, it's always like, how much can I throw? How much of that 10-pound crap can I throw into that 5-pound bag, but make it look good? You know? Because I mean, it seems like in the tattoo industry, that's where you end up with a lot. You know, people will be like, okay, I've got this much space, but I want to throw in the Mona Lisa and the ship coming in and 3 guys carrying it all, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on. So it's it gets kind of interesting to try finessing a design, or seeing, even when you get that design right and you shrink it down to size and going, okay, we got to eliminate some of this stuff, because like I can draw on a canvas this big and it look cool because it's got all the details in it, but when you shrink it down because they've only got a spot this big, it makes a game changer right there. So you gotta convince them, and a lot of times you can't. And then at that point in time, you just say, hey, sorry, it can't be done that way. If you want it to be done, I'm going to do it the way I feel that I can do it and deliver you a good piece that's going to last. Not a piece that I can do today that looks good, but in 2 or 3, 5 years from now, it looks like a big blob. Yeah.
So for those of you who have joined just here in the last few minutes, for those who share, we'll put your name in the drawing, and next week, actually we're going to interview Jill Bergner.
Oh, cool.
Next week. But next week we'll draw out of that hat, and the winner will have the opportunity, well, the winner will get a $60 tattoo here from King Crow Tattoos. Again, this is interactive. The reason why we live stream is so people have the opportunity to ask questions. and to get some immediate responses. Of course, you can watch this later. We eventually upload everything to YouTube as well. For those who have been watching the Tues 7 kind of series, you recognize Matt because he's been on several different episodes, more so as a makeup artist. Yeah. Over the past many months, has been there with his airbrush, and I would say, for me, working on a model is something.
Where is the shop? Mindy just brought that up. That's a good point.
It's in North Olmsted off of Lorraine Road, close to Stearns and Crocker.
And it's Black King Crow.
King Crow.
Yes.
Yep, King Crow Tattoo Social Club.
That's right.
And we're sitting right inside the front door. Just over the wall here is probably where the magic happens.
Yeah. Right over there is my booth.
Is your booth right near the? Well, there's a kind of a front window. Do you ever open it up and?
Well, we could open up the front windows, but now the way we rearranged a lot of the stuff, we wanted to pull some. The original design of the shop was supposed to be steampunk oriented, mm-hmm. And when we first did it, like the wall was like part of the original design, but it was like, let's hurry up and get open and start making the shop happen, yeah. And so it got kind of put on the wayside. And then when other things happened at the shop, we decided, okay, let's go ahead and get those things done. Yeah. So we implemented the wall to help give a good divider. This way that people can feel comfortable being tattooed without having to worry about other people watching them. If it's a privacy tattoo that needs to be done. I say each booth kind of has its own separation, so you can easily do them without having to worry about, being on display like before, because then everybody could just place their arms up on the thing and just watch everything happening. And it was, some people don't feel comfortable with that, so we want to give everybody as much comfort as possible when they're here. If I have to, I entertain. I don't. I try not to do too much of that because it can be disturbing. We either watch movies or music in my booth, so I let the customer choose on that point. Whatever's going to help them, kind of focus away if it's one of those things that they feel is, some people will sit through a tattoo like it's nothing. Some people fall asleep on tattoos, and other people will scream the whole entire time as though we're committing Harry Carey. It just everybody's different, so I try being different for everybody to help them be comfortable.
Yeah. So, skin is a canvas. You've been painting folks, airbrush, body painting for years, and all of a sudden you make this transition over to tattoo, the permanence of that. Is there? Tell us just a little bit about that transition from challenges, successes.
Well, the worst part about it, I'm not a big fan on hurting people. But it's like, and when I first started learning tattoo, it was like, well, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Well, I wasn't hitting the skin right for the tattoo to stay right. And Harry kind of explained to me that these people know that tattoos hurt. They're by trying to force the issue of it not hurting for them, you run into the issue of the tattoo not lasting, because you've got to get it into the skin. You've got to make sure that it's hitting right, and there's that fine line between hitting too deep and causing blowouts or scarring, and not hitting enough where by the time the tattoo heals, it disappears. So that was the biggest transition for me when I first started, was it's okay to hurt people.
Despite everything you've been told.
Because if it, as long as it doesn't hurt too bad, right? It's the right amount of hurt, so it's a permanence in the ink. And
sometimes pain's pleasure for people. I mean, they come in here for that therapy. It's that, escape from the world. Yeah, it hurts then, and they may cry, moan, and complain the whole entire time. but most of the people are back again the second, third, fourth time. It's like an addiction almost. So
Tell us about. So I have no tattoos,
okay.
and neither does Beth. Our daughters have tattoos. Our sons do not.
I'm contemplating.
Yeah, Beth is contemplating, and I would imagine that a lot of folks who are watching have tattoos, and I would imagine a lot of folks who are watching don't as well. But if somebody walks in, and let's say that money's not really an issue, or the process is going to be long term, somebody walks in and says, "I don't have any tattoos, but I want to start," and help me understand that process. If they are asking you that, as somebody says, "Listen, I want to start, and I'm looking for a sleeve or investing time and some money into my artwork."
Well, first, we figure out what they're wanting. That's the bigger issue, because a lot of people kind of know what they want, but aren't exactly sure. So we try locking in as many key ideas that they have. If we know that they're looking for a sleeve, then we help design it from that sleeve standpoint. They don't have to get it all done at once. We can take and cherry pick. Okay, we're going to do this section here. We'll do this section here. We'll do this section here. Or if they're gung ho, then we'll outline the whole entire thing and go back in later on and shade each section. Because we do, we call them tap out sessions, and we'll do. During the winter months, prices change unfortunately because we get busier, but during the winter months it's the best time to get a tattoo to begin with. And we'll charge $300 for 4 hours, or we'll charge $500 for 8 hours worth of tattooing if you can handle it. But it's called a tap out for a reason. So if you happen to tap out during the middle of it, you're still stuck with that bill. So it becomes a challenge for some people. Some people know that, hey, you could run me over with a truck and it's not going to bother me, keep going. And then there's other people we've only had one legitimate tap out, and it was a first time person thinking that their ribs was a great place to get a first time tattoo. No. I'll warn everybody ahead of time that ribs are not a fun place to get a first tattoo. Start off somewhere else where you know you can handle it, to know if you really are wanting to do that.
So great, and I want to get you. So why are ribs more painful?
They're just so sensitive. I mean, the ribs, the top of the feet, people have issues with. Like the spine area seems to be some issues. A lot of people hate getting the stomach done too, but it's the individual. I mean, I had a person, she had her back done. It was an 8-hour tap out session. We did a big, huge line on her back, and she sat like a champ, laughing and giggling the whole entire time.
Do you take a break?
Oh, we take
during
breaks.
that?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
obviously, I know.
if you need to go to the bathroom, or if you feel you want, it's your day. I mean,
Sure.
So if you only want to be tattooed for 6 hours out of the 8-hour day, hey, go grab yourself a lunch. But your clock's still running. It's not. I mean, I'm willing to sit here for the 8 hours and tattoo 8 hours straight. I've done it before. I've done up to 10 hours straight. And yeah, you get tired, but and you got to take the bathroom breaks. You got to take the leg stretch breaks. But it's what the customer's wanting. So you want to get as much done for them in that amount of time to make it worth their while. And we could either charge an artist rate. Some shops range anywhere from $100 to $250 an hour, or we can give you a great deal like a tap out session for the 8 hours for $500 and save yourself a lot and get a lot of art done. So
somebody comes up and says, "Okay, I got virgin skin." Is that the correct?
That would be correct.
I've got virgin skin. And I'm looking to as a tattoo artist, you're like, send them to me, right? But I want to start my tattoo journey.
Okay.
How do people come in and say, "I'm looking for Celtic work. I'm looking for this. I'm looking for memorial tattoos"? Well, what do you see most often? And if people are coming in and they're completely clueless, how would you coach them into?
Well, I mean, a lot of people unfortunately, unfortunately and fortunately, the internet is so easy to find images. A lot of people shop Pinterest like mad for when it comes to tattoo designs, and it's not a bad idea, but thing I would recommend if you're going to do that, come in there, I want something like this. Don't come in there, I want this design, because if you're picking a design that's already on somebody, then you're not getting anything unique. What I suggest a lot of times for people, if you're going to do the Pinterest or the Google searches, find 5 or 6 different images that you like. Allow that artist to kind of combine those images into something that's more unique for yourself. A lot of times if you come in and visit us, we'll kind of start picking your brain, figure out what design you're looking at getting, what kind of stuff you're into, and find out from there what we can put together for you. How big of a space are you trying to fill? Where are you wanting it to go at? Because location is also part of the design process. You need to make sure that the design's facing the right direction. You need to make sure that the design's going to fit within that shape. You don't want to design something for a thigh and it ends up going on an arm, because it's going to be a different shape, it's going to be a different size. The same thing goes, a design on your chest may look great on your chest, but if you try putting it on your calf, it might not fit right. So the artist needs to create that shape that will flow on the body, so it looks like it's where it needs to be instead of force fed in there.
Yeah. So somebody comes to you and says, "I've got a couple ideas, something along these lines." They walk in, they have some thoughts or some images, and they come to you. What happens next?
First, we'll have them send us stuff to like if it's images that they found on the internet. We'll have them, okay, go ahead and kick it off to our Facebook page. Send us a message, and then we'll pull those off. And then I'll take those designs, figure out where they're wanting to go, what size space I have to fill, and I'll create the design from those images. I use an iPad for all my work, and we just basically, I'll draw it on the iPad, I'll send it straight off over to the printer, and then I run it through the stencil machine and we're ready to go. So usually we try to have the person book an appointment instead of walk-ins. I mean, we can do walk-ins. Unfortunately, you have to sit there while I'm drawing, which is maybe boring for you. Or if you want to come in, talk to us, and then go grab some lunch while I'm drawing up your design, that's always an option too. But usually we take about an hour to come up with a good idea base. What I like to do is kind of give a sketch first, make sure that I'm in the right direction, because then I'm not wasting a lot of time if the ideas change. So I'll come up with a design, I'll show it to you. If you're good with it, then we'll figure out if today's the day for you, then we'll get you back there. If it's not, and you need a couple of days and you're just coming in to kind of get a price, then we can give you a price at that point in time once we figure out. The one of the funniest things that happens at a tattoo shop is people will contact us all the time. "Hey, I'm looking for a price on such and such piece," and we're like, "Well, what size is it?" And they'll send us the picture of what they're wanting, and they're like, "Well, it's the size that it is in the picture." Well, I mean, for one, my forearm and Beth's forearm is going to be a lot different if it's a forearm piece. So we're looking at probably the difference between a 6 to an 8-inch tattoo design. And then, it's like, well, are you referring to the picture that's on my phone, or on the image that I'm looking at now? Because now it's only this big, because that's what I'm looking at. So trying to get the exact size out of people, it's like people don't grasp what size. Oh, about 3 inches. Do you realize how big 3 inches is? So the first thing I'll always be like, when they say 3 inches, I said that's about the size of a business card. Are you sure you want it that tiny? Because you're going to lose a lot of detail when you start getting that small.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, I didn't realize that it was that small," or yeah, that's the one I wanted. I'm like, okay, let me grab a 1 needle or something like that, to try forcing the details in. So I mean, really, it comes down to when a person wants to get the tattoos. Like we'll draw them up. A lot of times, I like booking out a week beforehand. You know, if you get an idea for a tattoo and you want to get it next week, that's really great for me. It gives me the time to really focus and get some good time on creating the piece that you're really wanting to hit home with you. And then is what I'll usually do is like our shop we require a deposit, so you'll put your deposit down to lock your date in, and then that kind of filters two reasons. It for one, it finds out if you're really truly wanting your tattoo, because I can go and shop 20 different shops just to see what kind of ideas people can come up with, and now you've got 20 artists out there thinking you're coming in and you don't show. Well, that's a 3-4 hour spot that they could have put somebody else in. So we put a deposit down for one, to get you to come back. I mean, if you're going to drop $100 deposit and not be worried about showing up again, that's all on you. I mean, we'll honor you. You know, if something comes up, we understand stuff comes up. Give us a couple of days notice. Say, hey, I gotta change that appointment. Okay, fine. Your deposit will roll over. It's not a problem. We'll do that once or twice. You know, don't make a habit of it, but you know, we want to make sure that we can deliver for you. You're not sticking us. We're not sticking you, because we're going to make sure that your design's done. So the $100 deposit goes towards your artwork, goes towards your appointment, and it also gives us that kind of guarantee. We're going to guarantee you that your artwork's going to be done and up to your satisfaction. So you get that deposit. Okay, well, I got the artwork done. I'm going to go ahead and send it off to you. See if you like it. If you don't like it, I'll go and redraw it. I have no problem with it. That's my job. So I'll redraw the piece if it needs to be. If it's 100% golden, you come on through on your day, we'll tattoo you. Yeah. So then that deposit then goes towards the cost of the tattoo. So it's not like you're losing out on any money. It's what you would have paid towards the tattoo anyways. It's just kind of like a calling card saying, hey, yeah, I'm going to be there. So it helps us both out in that case.
Yeah, I'm serious about it. I always find that if ever I want to start a conversation or continue a conversation and I see somebody has some ink, I'll ask, I'll say, tell me about your tattoo. And it becomes a connector, because I think that even if people's ideas change, they go back and say, I got that tattoo back when I was, 23 years old, and it was here, and this is who I was with, and this is what I was thinking at the time, and this is what I was into at the time. Tell me about a couple stories. Not anything that. What I'm saying is, so people come in and say, I'm doing this tattoo, and I keep an eye on your postings. So I take a look at the photos that come through, and I see a lot of heritage and memorial tattoos and things like that. How does your job help people tell their story, or when you sit down and you're like, okay, so of those images and those ideas that you've expressed to me, what do you think about this? And you turn your iPad or you send them the image, and they're like, how did you? I mean, that's got to be that's got to be fulfilling, and or pressure, a lot of pressure too, right? It's permanent, and
it gets to kind of be both. But like I've done painting ornaments and stuff like that for a long time, so kind of delivering what somebody's really looking for. There's definitely something like you can see in their eyes. So like everybody wants you to send that like an image of what they're looking for as a tattoo, but I don't like to send something like, especially like that, because that first initial reaction when they see it tells everything. Either you've hit the mark and you've just floored them, or you're so far off that you don't want them to kind of like blow smoke and be like, yeah, this is good. I like this, because it's on you permanently.
Yeah.
And if it's something representing somebody who meant so much to you, so you got 2 marks you've got to really drop. And I would rather the person come in and personally be able to see that reaction, so I know, okay, yeah, you don't really like this. Let me see what else I can do. Because I don't want to give you anything that 5-10 years from now you're trying to find a cover up for it, because it wasn't the way you wanted it. And we've had, like, I've done cover ups for people. they started a tattoo and it didn't like how it came out, or the tattoo blurred itself out over time. We're also, like right now, we're running something, I don't know how many people have seen it online. We're doing a Erase the Hate program. And the goal of that one is on Sundays, we're basically going to be one Sunday a month. We're going to find up to 4 people who are looking at having gang-related tattoos or racial tattoos or stuff like along those lines, who want them covered up because they've made such an impact in their life. We're going to do them for free. So
That's wonderful. Good idea.
Yeah, I mean, so that's it almost allows people to change the permanence, right? Because whatever I was thinking when I was 18 and I got this tattoo, now that I'm 28 and I'm a changed person,
right.
there's the opportunity to change that. That's something. I actually posted it to the Tues 87 group as kind of a cover photo, and that was striking to me because that's recognizing change in people and allowing them to reflect it in on their skin and on their tattoos. I would imagine that you've gotten some pretty the shop here has gotten some pretty good feedback on that.
We've got a lot of people who love the idea. The weird thing is we haven't gotten a lot of response from people who want it done. You know, and maybe it's just not hitting those people yet. We've got a few. We've got a few people that they're like, yeah, I really need to figure out something to do for these. But it's we have the Chronicle Telegram has talked to us about doing an article on it. So I mean, right now we're really looking at helping people out. We want to get the canvases in here, get the people in here. Let's get those marks off of you that people who had swastikas or whatever growing up. I've covered a couple of them. I've had people who were getting ready to go to an event for their boss, and their boss had never seen the tattoo. And we're like, oh, okay, let's get this taken care of. I don't want him to see this kind of thing because I don't want him to think that this is who I am. And when you're young, everything's cool. You'll take a needle and dip it in some ink and do them stick and pokes and do some really stupid stuff on you. And if it was racial or like a hate symbol or whatever, we can take care of it for you now. So come on up and we'll hook you up.
So for those of you who are watching, not only do you have the opportunity to maybe win a tattoo for sharing, but to pass this on, especially that Erase the Hate is going to be, I mean, if you know of anybody who you think would benefit, pass the word on, because it has what Matt's doing and the tattoo shop here, I think, has the opportunity to make some real change in people's lives, more than just ink, right? It's just more than ink. It's maybe a change in mindset, right? Or maybe the skin follows the mindset. If you have any questions, please feel free to send those along to us. I'm sorry?
I have a question.
Beth has a question.
So how do you as an artist, because you were talking about people going onto Pinterest and like Facebook for their tattoo ideas, I would imagine that a lot of those tattoos are original art from a tattoo artist.
Right.
And you kind of covered that with saying, hey, let's not just copy someone else's tattoo, but let's create your own tattoo. How do you as an artist deal with that if they're like, no, that's what I want that exact tattoo, and it's got to be a struggle because it may or may not be copyrighted, but that's another artist's work.
Right.
And tattoo artists probably, and again, if you look at like flash tattoos and stuff like that, how do you create that ability for it to be your artwork? Or do you discuss that with your clients even to say, I try not to replicate because you're here for a Matt Seel piece of work, or how do you handle that with clients?
Well, we always try to deliver an original piece. You bring in ideas, is what I call them. Is all Pinterest is an idea board, and I understand that you may want exactly this piece, but why would you want something that, unfortunately, if you look in other places that not only the Pinterest has, you'll probably catch these pieces 20, 30, 40 times over.
Yeah.
So I like to try delivering, giving them something at least a little bit different in the design. You're going to get people who are stuck. They want that exactly, and it's really hard. I mean, we want to make every customer happy.
Yeah. And it's money.
Right.
So
I mean, it becomes that double-edged sword. The boss is the final say, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of push that. If that's what you want, okay, let me get the approval from the boss and make sure that we can do that.
now conversely, so if you have someone so my daughter will do original artwork, like other people will come to her and say, would you design my tattoo? And if someone takes that and brings it to you, it's original artwork specifically for that, but it's still not your artwork.
Right.
So
I mean, we do artwork like that. Like I had a mom whose child wrote a note to her, and she wanted the note in that child's handwriting. So we can do things as long as there's permission involved. I mean, we try to figure that, okay, if you're bringing us the artwork, then you've gotten the permission part of it taken care of.
Right.
That means that artwork is yours, and we are doing what you're wanting tattooed. So now going off of Pinterest is something completely different, but somebody coming in with an original piece of artwork. That's how I ended up tattooing. I drew my nephew's tattoo for my grandfather who passed away. He took it into the shop to get it tattooed. Mm-hmm. The guy was like, "Hey, who designed this? This is great. Have him come in, talk to me. I want to apprentice him." So I went in there, talked to the guy, and that's how I ended up tattooing. So it's if you're having somebody else draw your tattoo, that's fine. We'll gladly do off of somebody else's drawing, as long as it's we try to keep original as possible. We don't want people stealing other people's art. I mean, that's a horrible way to go in the art business to begin with, and it happens all the time, unfortunately. We try delivering what a customer wants. So, to the best of our abilities, if you'll allow us to swing at the fence a little bit, we'll gladly do that. Yeah. Twist an idea, take 2 or 3 ideas and twist them together. That's even better for us. One of my first couple tattoos I'd done, they were mandalas, and people had their mindset on, I want this mandala exactly. And mandalas are one of those things that are like really time consuming to begin with. So to draw one up, I felt like I was banging my head against the wall because there's so many parts that are exactly the same. And so I took three or 4 mandalas to create one unique piece, but it still had that same initial kind of twist or look that the person was looking for, and they loved it. So
cool.
Give us the opportunity to spin off of that Pinterest idea a little bit, and we'll amaze you.
Tattooing has been around for a while, right?
Understatement.
Understatement?
In many different forms too. So
in many different forms, because historically, mummies were tattooed, right?
Yeah, I think it started off with like a needle and a stick.
People figured out you can
just stab into the skin and it stays. So yeah.
I'd love to have been that first person where the other guy was like, "I have an idea. Hold still." And like just started stabbing them with the thing and the,
I don't know if I'd want to have been that person.
Yeah, like that must have been dedication to them.
Yeah. So from that point where they were doing those very primitive tattoos, how have things changed?
Oh,
I don't mean even just like from
just since electricity has changed a heap. So I mean, machines. I mean, there's the traditional coil machines. Now there's the rotary machines. I mean, just in the last, probably 10 years, there's been a drastic change in tattooing. Power supplies make a big difference. Foot pedals. That's one of the biggest things I've learned is like tattooing is a lot like the sports and everything. That weakest link kind of can destroy the whole entire thing. And by me upgrading every little piece, my skill level has increased because the machine's running right now. And where before I was fighting it to get that right connection with the machine that I'm using. So like Christmas time, I went and got a new foot pedal. I bought a new power supply in the middle of last year. I bought a new tattoo machine. I got another rotary, but it's a pen style rotary, which there's a difference there. You got the regular rotary, and then you've got the pen style rotary, which pen's like holding a giant kindergarten crayon in your hand, but it's more natural. Your body recognizes that, so it allows you to maneuver a little bit easier and get a more consistent flow. It's helped me out with creating better line work and even parallel lines next to each other that are fine lines, which a lot of tattoo artists, it's a struggling point for us, because you get one little movement as you're doing that line, and now you either got to thicken the line up, thicken both lines up to make them look right or whatever, and people don't realize every little movement that they do with their hands is moving the rest of their body.
Yeah.
So it becomes a real challenge. You want to try being nice without smacking them in the back of their head, or yelling at them for that moving. It's, the tattooing, that's where I think the biggest problem is between that canvas, the person, and the machine. Everything has to work right to make sure that you're getting that nice tight line or whatever. Yeah, you could lay on top of somebody and hold them down so they can't move or whatever, but
that's an extra charge.
yeah, it's an upcharge for that one. As far as the machines go, I mean, just in the past probably 10 years or so, I don't know the exact time frame that rotaries came out. I mean, honestly, prisoners were using rotary machines, I think, well before they actually came out and were sold on shelves. So, but I think they realized that you could do really more consistent, less traumatic work with a rotary machine because it's a constant hit on the skin, where your traditional machines, there's a lot of variables. You've got the electricity that's causing the magnet to move a certain way, and then you've got the skin, which either accepts the needle or doesn't accept the needle. So you got where it hits, and then if it doesn't go in, then the magnetic effect just kind of recoils back off. So you could do some great work with any of the machines if you know how to use them properly. It's just help. I think it's kind of helping the artists get more consistent at a faster pace. Where consistency may have taken 5-10 years or whatever to really get that gorgeous work done. Now these machines are kind of helping out a little bit to make the artist feel more natural.
Yeah. So. Now, how about color versus monochromatic or black and white? So because I'm seeing a lot of color now, and I keep thinking to myself, either there's been some incredible advances, or in 10 years we'll see a bunch of colors kind of bleed in.
I wish Harry was here, because he's told me stories back in the day where they used to have to cook their colors. They would make all their own inks, and that would be a day-long process. They would close the shop down completely for the day. He said they had ink dust, because it was all powder back then, and you would add stuff to it, and you'd cook it down and make the inks that you need and pour them all into your bottles, and that could last you a month or whatever into the next time you needed it. But some of the inks back in the day, they were toxic. I mean, they were not good for the body. But people were using them. There was stuff in them that people would have a bad allergic reaction. Red was a horrible one for the longest time because of the stuff that's in it to make red, and it would cause a lot of people to have, flare-ups or infections and stuff like that. I mean, tattooing back in the day, again, these are just stories from somebody who had been tattooing for almost 40 years, telling me, it was a dirty business back in the day. That's why nowadays people are still kind of skeptical about going into a tattoo shop. But we were required to follow so many medical type things. The health department comes in, they inspect our setups. We have to be first aid, bloodborne pathogens, and CPR certified every year. So there's a lot going into it nowadays, where we have to be cleaner. All of our stuff now, we run disposables. So at this shop especially, there's, when you come in, we open up the fresh needle right in front of you that has been sterilized before, it was cleaned, it was packaged, and then sterilized in the package, and then sent off to the shops for us to buy from. So everything has been sterilized. Our inks are used specifically just for that customer. Whatever's left in the ink things, they all get rolled up and thrown away. So no inks are reused at all, compared to some of the stuff that happened back in the day. We use clean, fresh paper towels to wipe the skin with. You're sanitized with green soap during the whole entire tattoo process to make sure that you're fresh, and that you're not leaving the shop with an infection. So people think that the infection happens at the shop. More than likely, the infection unfortunately happens in the aftercare. You are tormenting the skin. People don't realize that you'll get people who will take and gob so much lotion on it, thinking that they're hydrating that tattoo, and all they're doing is smothering it. Your skin can't breathe. Your skin scabs up. So, proper aftercare is just as important as how a shop is putting that same product into your skin, because we can do the best job we possibly can, deliver you the best tattoo ever, and you could have a bad reaction during the aftercare and destroy your tattoo. And this shop here, me personally, I honor all my artwork. So if a tattoo leaves here, but something happens and I've got to fix it, I'll fix it. 5 years down the road, it may fade a little bit, come back in, I'll fix it. Yeah. Now, eventually, I'll hope for a little donation back in my pocket from fixing it up, but it's my work. So I want to be able to honor my work, and I want it to look good for as long as it possibly can.
So talking about the aftercare, is there anything pre-tattoo, like being hydrated, or is there anything that you ask people to do prior to coming in that makes the skin more receptive or prevents,
the biggest
injury?
The biggest thing that I would ask, if you've had a surgery, if you've had a cold, if you're getting ready to have a surgery, don't go get a tattoo. Tattoos are considered minor surgeries. Your body will choose which one it wants to heal. Mm-hmm. So if your body's already working on the surgery that you had, and you go in there and you get a tattoo, more than likely either your tattoo or your surgery is not going to heal up right the way it needs to, which means you're basically giving yourself an infection. So I would say, make sure that you're not sick. Make sure that you don't have a surgery going on, or you had a surgery recently. We like to say about a month for your surgery. That way, it gives your body a good time to heal.
Makes sense.
And if you were sick, you had the cold or whatever, give it a couple weeks. Let your body heal up. Let it kick up those white blood cells or whatever goes on. I'm not a surgical guy, but or medical guy.
Build up your immunity, right?
Right. Build that immunity back up. Hydration is good, but energy drinks are not. You'll bleed unfortunately, you'll bleed a lot if you drink a lot of energy drinks or if you drink a lot of caffeine because your blood pressure's up. The same thing goes with alcohol. If you like to drink a lot, you're going to probably bleed a lot because now you're thinning your blood down so much that get the blood in your alcohol system, and then but just make sure when you've got an appointment, make sure you stop and grab yourself something to eat before you go in. The easiest way to black out or pass out or whatever is by not eating, because you're going to work yourself up and your body's just going to shut down. And I'm not that great at catching much anymore, so I after you fall on the floor, I'll pick you up.
Yeah.
But no, just kidding.
But I think that's smart. I've never heard, and it's total common sense. But to call it a minor surgery is, it's just like if you're getting ready to go in for a more invasive dental appointment.
Right.
You're not gonna go on a binge the night before, or you're not gonna eat something that isn't going to feel good while you're potentially dealing with some type of physical trauma,
Right.
as minor as it can be. So I think that's a great way to say, yeah, it's art, but it's art being impaled upon your body. So, be smart about it.
You said that winter are popular months. Now I'm guessing at the reason for that, but why are the winter months your busiest?
Actually, they're not.
Oh, they're not?
No, winter is not the busiest.
Oh.
Winters are actually our slowest months. People want to wait until they can show their tattoos off. Instead of being smart about it and getting them done during the winter months, where you give your body a chance to let them heal before they go in and catch the sun.
The sun and
Yeah,
sunburn.
and the sun bakes them all off and everything else. Everybody wants to go and get them when they're getting ready to go on their vacation trip, to where they can dip them in the ocean and get bacteria growing through them or whatever.
So, because I would have guessed it would have been the opposite. People, their days are short. Like, it's time to get my tattoo, and it'll be all healed for spring and.
Honestly, winter is the best month to get it done, but it's not our busiest. It's our slowest. We slow down a lot, and most shops do. Because you get for one, you get the holidays. Everybody's trying to save up money for Christmas, so nobody buys anything for Christmas. If they do buy stuff, even if they buy it from the shop, they'll buy gift certificates that get used later on when the people are ready to use them. And usually it's like either
March.
Yeah, you get right at the end of February, right at the beginning of March, because Uncle Sam's just released those new checks to everybody, and here comes they'll flood in, and we'll be slammed, which is great for us. Those months are great, and we'll usually stay super busy until probably around August, September, and then it starts slowing down again.
Back to school.
You get your regulars that they know by me coming in during the winter. And I have people that I don't see them other than the winter. They know that they're going to be in their pool all summer long. Yeah. They know that I'll yell at them if they come in here with a tattoo all messed up that I just gave them, because they decided they wanted to go in the pool. Because I tell it, if you get a fresh tattoo, you want to wait at least 2 weeks, minimum of 2 weeks before you even go in a pool. So why not get your tattoos done during the winter? If you have no vacations planned, then that's great. If you don't have a pool at home, that's awesome. Come in and get your tattoo, then you don't have to worry about it.
So no hot tubbing.
Oh, no.
No hot tubbing.
No.
Now,
you will strip a tattoo and you will cause so many problems and then you'll expect me to fix them.
Of course.
I know that it would be completely illogical for us to generalize from our particular family, which is the girls have ink and the boys don't. But is there a gender difference that you see? I would say my observations, not only in our family but elsewhere, is that right now getting tattoos is probably very popular with
the ladies.
With the ladies, right? Or is that just my?
I probably have more female regulars, and I don't know, what's different. The females seem to get. I don't know if it's just the ones that I've done. That's either they're getting the small petite pieces that look delicate, or they'll get these full out large pieces. There's like no in between for them. It's like but most of them I do. They seem to be more just line art type pieces or full color pieces. Watercolor pieces seem to be really popular. The guys, they're pretty hardcore on the solid black and gray. You know, the larger the better. You know, they kind of, you know, fill out in different directions. So each, like, I don't see any, like, well, here's a fine line of, okay, yeah, females are getting a lot more tattoos than men. Really, it just, females seem to be able to handle the tattoos a little bit better than men. Pain tolerance seems to be a little bit better. You know, my boss was telling me, like, when I was doing that 8-hour back session with that girl, he's like, if that would have been a guy, he would have already quit. Because the back's a bear. But I don't know how true it is, but she was laughing the whole entire time. You know, towards the end, you know, that 7 and 7.5 hour mark, she was getting a little tender, but, you know, you go that long getting stabbed. I mean, I don't care who you are, it's gonna feel pretty good. But I don't know, as far as, like,
Yeah, you're saying not particular gender differences.
There's not. I mean, it seems
okay.
more of a fad of what's going on. Like, I see a lot of, like, where tribal used to be the huge thing. Everybody wants, like, quotes and books written on them.
Just
phrases everywhere and quotes. That seems to be the new trend. Or watercolor is another new thing that everybody's looking at, because it gives you that element of a delicate, but you also get that splash of color that helps enhance things too. So
I have a bunch of questions
on
here. Do you have a question you want to hit first, or do you want to...
Okay, so we'll come to questions in just a minute, because right now you're saying watercolor, wording. What do you think's coming? I mean, I would imagine that you're like, difference in regions. Is the West Coast saying, hey, what's coming over to the Midwest are going to be...
Well, by what I was always told, you know, everything that's going on in California now seems to smack Ohio in a year or so after it's already done its big term over there. So, I don't know, I guess if you wanted to see what popularity you're going to have in Ohio in the next year or so, it's
West Coast.
Kick over to California for a little bit and see what they're doing. Maybe you can jump ship and figure out, catch the trend before it's a trend.
Yeah. I want to come back to another question, but let's take questions here first, because it sounds like we've got a bunch.
So Caitlin says, what are your thoughts on how easy it is for someone to start tattooing, for example, being able to buy a tattoo machine kit off of Amazon and working out of a home versus going through apprenticeship with a skilled artist? And Caitlin has personal experience, so she did tattoo with a diplomatically skilled artist, and she did it for a while, and like her experience, like you were talking about, this is like the one thing that he did that I thought was very interesting, was knowing how hard you have to press the needle. He had her give herself a tattoo so she could actually feel it, and it's probably one of the best tattoos she's ever done. And it's gorgeous. But and then when you were talking about the line movement, and that was, for her, that was a huge fear, was the lines. And I know that was one thing I was interested in while she was talking to us about her apprenticeship, was the skin that you can practice on, and that she just, in order to perfect those lines, have to do that. But having gone through an apprenticeship, through training, that kind of stuff, is that the best route? Can someone start out at home and using the home kits and the skin and stuff?
The only problem I see, and again, this is completely my opinion. I don't want any other tattoo artists to be banging down my door being like, "Oh, what are you doing?" The biggest problem you run into a lot of times is the stuff you're buying online is junk China stuff. It's not. I mean, that's why they're selling it for $50 for a full entire kit or whatever. You could probably practice at home, and that's your spare machine that you're practicing on. But like the same thing I tell everybody, like with airbrushes, you buy junk, you're going to get junk product. So it can be frustrating. Having a skilled artist show you what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, and guiding you is a great advantage. I wish things were a little bit. I wish I would have had a little more tutorial my way. You can find things on YouTube, yeah, don't get me wrong. But again, how do you know who's doing it?
Yeah.
You can have really good artists out there showing you their stuff, and that's cool. But half the stuff, it's like Wikipedia. Anybody can go and make a tutorial or a page or whatever and tell you that, hey, well, no, today the grass is blue, and you're going to believe it, kind of thing, or not, based off of what they want. But if you have the option or the opportunity to learn under a skilled artist, do it. I mean, you can never go wrong with that.
And so that leads into a second question. This is something that Caitlin struggled with, is finding that person to apprentice with. She got caught. There were a couple tattoo shops. We were horrified by
Ohio is a right to hire state. They can learn your skills.
when you're training, or just once they hire you.
Well, it doesn't matter, because I know contracts that will say, hey, we're going to teach you to tattoo, and for 2 years after, you can't compete. You can't go anywhere else, and they can't do that. I mean, there's legalities beyond that too, because they can't stop you from making money. If it didn't work out, unfortunately, a tattoo business is a nomad business. They flip-flop, they move, they wander. We're traveling carnies for the most part. I hate to say it, but we'll go where the money's at, and that's why shops open, shops close, and so forth. And a lot of people, I can understand. You want your person that you're training to stick with you once you've trained them. Give them a reason then.
Right.
That's I can bind you to say, okay, yeah, you're going to give me 2 years, but I'm going to treat you like crap, or I'm going to throw you in here, throw you to the wolves and giving you heart. The problem is half of them will give you half-hearted training. They won't even take the time, but they wanted to bind you to a contract. Mm-hmm. That way, if you are good enough, it's like
you're captive.
Yeah. At
that point, you're not very happy.
I know a couple people that were like that. Yeah. So it's like, if they're pushing contracts so hard and heavily, then all they're trying to do is lock you in.
And find somebody else.
Yeah, find somebody else.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm not saying that you might not have to pay for it. There some shops though nowadays, if you can go into a shop, make sure you find a good shop, mm-hmm. find a good artist that you really enjoy their work, and you show them that you're a good artist that has the skill, they'll teach you. I mean, you might have to go in there every day until they finally say, okay, I'm fine, okay, I'll teach you. But just take the time, put forth the effort, and if that's what you want to do, then do it. Don't be forced into signing contracts and stuff like that.
Well, people invest their time in college, in art classes, and paying tuition. And if you are serious about being a tattoo artist, probably to invest some time and some money into the right place, the right time.
Yep.
Maybe without a contract is the direction to go.
So Mark Ferran says, I am happy with the tattoo I got from Matt. I asked him to post a picture if he had one.
I did an owl on his chest.
Oh.
Nice.
A scary owl.
We'll see you Saturday.
Mindy
Mark.
asked, does King Crow do piercing here?
No, unfortunately we do not.
Okay. And Katie Johnston recommended a friend on here, and now the friend is all excited, and she's going to contact Matt to get a tattoo. And she's
Oh,
blaming Katie for it.
By the way,
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if you share, you may be
$60
Woo.
gift certificate for a tattoo.
again. If you share out, your name will go into a drawing. We'll draw a name next week.
Yep. And I may be even willing to throw in a little bit more than the $60,
Oh.
just to entice you guys a little bit more to get our name out there.
Oh my goodness. That is a good enticement. I think half my female relatives just shared about 40 times. Mindy wants to know if the tap out is a regular offering.
It's a regular offering, yeah. Our prices do go up on it. Like during the winter months, it's 3 for $4, and during the summer months, it's 4 for $4. We like my rate. I hate throwing out the
Right.
word rate because it's not right, but our shop here charges between like $125, $150 an hour, so you still save some on the summer rate. And you still, like, if you get to the 8-hour tap outs, it's $500 for 8, $600 for 8. So
Okay.
depending on when you fall in, so you can still save a lot of money by pushing yourself to that 8-hour. So yeah, it's an all the time thing. Even if it's not, I'll honor it. So
The tap out sounds interesting,
Yeah,
right?
the tap
so,
out-
so how much can you get in a tap out?
Well,
know
I
it's
did-
8 hours
I did a full piece on the girl's back. That was probably about that big.
in 8 hours.
In 8 hours.
hours.
Was that full color?
All black and
All
gray.
black and-
Yeah,
okay.
it was a lion.
Wow.
Was it the blue line? It was.
The realistic looking lion.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
With the flowers coming down each side.
Hey,
That was done in 8 hours.
Mark, I would say if you can't get the picture to post during the chat, you can just post it to the Tuesday at 7 group and just
Yeah,
put
that'd be
Matt's
great.
name in there, and that way we know why a random tattoo photo got posted there. Let's see.
Matt, do you have a sketchbook or your iPad close?
Right in my booth.
Sounds good. So as Matt walks around, it is, I don't know the date, end of January here in 2020, but this
28th.
what 28th
28th.
28th. This Saturday, February 1st, we're going to have a gathering at the Maple Grove Tavern. Actually, Mark was our contact at getting that venue set up. But what we wanted to do was to pull people together, so it wasn't just going to be this online, hold your phone, listen to it, but give people the opportunity to meet folks in person, compare notes, talk to Matt, talk to Mark, talk to a lot of the other interviewers that we've had. I'm kind of posting those folks that have responded that they're going, so you're going to see kind of that running total. Feel free to share out that public event too. We're looking together. We're looking to be together and have some face-to-face time and not just screen time together. Again, that's a Saturday. And for those who share, I don't know if there's any last minutes, but those who get the opportunity, that you'll see, we'll go ahead and choose a certificate for $60, and we'll choose that next week. So go show us a little bit of your sketch work and some of the things that you have there.
I don't know how well you can see them on the screen. Like, these are 2 of them I just did today.
Beautiful.
So the one down here was went on the forearm. This one up here was an ankle piece. It went down a little bit on the top of the foot.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
So those both are unique pieces that these folks came in. You sketched it out. Now, have they had this done yet, or?
Yeah, there were the 2 that
Oh, okay.
as you guys were coming in.
So those are brand new art that he finished up at 7 o'clock tonight.
Now, Matt, you've been illustrating for quite some time.
Is that an iPad Pro?
Yep.
Caitlin is asking. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's a 12.9. This is the lion.
Oh, that was that the tap
That's
out?
the tap
That was
out.
the 8-hour tap out.
8
This is the
hour
design for it. This
on
isn't
her
the piece.
back. Wow.
So you've been illustrating for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
Was that between like shoulders.
Yeah, it was between the shoulder blades. Let me see if I can find the image real quick, if you don't mind.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I even have the healed one that they just she just sent me a little bit ago. So
Oh.
so this is the healed version of it.
Oh my goodness.
Man, that's amazing.
So
And
there's
she's coming back in to have the flowers done. We weren't able to get the flowers. She was pretty done by the time
8
it was
hours.
done.
Was
Yeah.
That's stunning. Wow.
So I got a couple pieces. I'll show you. Like, for instance, this is kind of the design and how it starts.
Hmm.
This was the mummy. Universal's monsters.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then the finished tattoo. Sorry.
No, Kyle said, "Hey, that's my mummy." There it is, Kyle. Wow.
Is that Kyle's?
He's on
Yeah.
Is that
here
his?
right
Yeah.
now.
Hey, Kyle,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing your. That's your
Yeah.
calf, right?
No, that's
No,
his arm.
his
Oh, arm?
That's his
Okay.
forearm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He's doing all of them on his arm to look
Wow.
like they've been stolen from different people and skinned and then stitched back together. That's why all the stitch marks are around them.
Nice.
But I don't know what kind of stuff do you.
Show us one or. Do you have any other categories?
Like I did this one just recently. This is the design.
Hmm.
And then I made it look more realistic with the shading and so forth.
Where was that?
That wrapped around the arm. Let me show you real quick. I got that one done too.
How long?
That one was just recent.
Oh wow.
Oh, very nice.
So it wrapped completely around the arm.
Hmm.
And I did some drop shadows to make it look like.
Yeah. Very nice.
What about memorial tattoos? Do you have any memorial tattoos you can show us? Anything red? And no's an okay answer too.
No, I have. I'm trying to remember where it would be at. Because the way they've done Facebook makes it harder to find things.
Oh, I see.
I did one for a pet. I'm trying to see if it's in here or not.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Aw.
And later on, I added wings, unfortunately, to it. So,
Gotcha.
because the poor puppy passed away.
Have you done quite a
Wow.
few pets? Or
I've done like paws and stuff like that for people.
Kyle, we can't show all your tattoos. He says show the car memorial,
No.
the Wolfman.
so, if you guys have any questions, shoot them out. We're running quite long here, and I could sit here and look at Matt's
kidding.
work all night long. That's beautiful work.
Thank you. A lot of this stuff. So
Which one is that one? Who's?
that was done on fake skin.
Oh, okay.
So if you go to my Facebook page, I've got them in the category of tattoo, so you can see a lot of. Unfortunately, a lot of it's the older stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into the uploads,
Oh, yeah, show us that the skeleton. Yeah, that one.
Wrong button. Sorry, guys. I backed out too far. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my newest ones that got a lot of
Oh,
cool reviews.
wow.
It was an illustration based off of a drawing sketch the person brought in. It was already tattooed, but I went and found the actual real sketch and went from it instead of the
finished
the
result.
finished tattoo. Because you know when you work on a tattoo that somebody else already had done,
Yeah.
their flair is already in it. So I always try to give my flair too. So if I can go back to an original image, if it's something that's, you know, unfortunately, yeah, this has probably been tattooed a bunch of different times in a bunch of different ways. The sketch marks weren't in the original sketch, but it was in the tattoo. The person liked those, so I kind of combined the two elements together and created the piece for them.
So here's a personal story. So my dad had a tattoo on his arm, and he got it when he was in the Army, and the name that was tattooed was not my mother's name. He wasn't married to my mom at the time, but it was his fiance at the time. But anyways, so fast forward, I don't know, 15 years or so, and he marries my mom, and he has a tattoo name of somebody else on his arm. So what my dad did, because he was hard-headed, of course, he got what was equivalent of a Dremel tool, and Dremel just the name out. And he did it a couple times, and it scarred over.
That is
Right?
a disapproving facial
Right,
expression.
and so he essentially carved out. I mean, the tattoo was there, but the name was gone. So nowadays, I mean, there's
We can cover that,
You can
please.
completely cover it. So instead of dremeling, do you have any? Oh yeah, show us this one too.
This is
I
a
love
this is a memorial piece.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So both religious, but tell us the meaning behind.
The person who owned, who passed away, unfortunately,
Yeah.
he was a biker.
Biker.
And so they wanted the chain to be a bike chain.
Mm-hmm.
So his name's in there too. You can kind of see.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yep, that's stunning.
What a great memorial too. Great
Uh-huh.
work, Matt.
And
Love
then
that.
I had one. Oops, wrong button.
I love seeing. And isn't it cool that you can just grab this iPad and flip it
Yes.
around? And
This was also another memorial. The guy was a musician.
Aw. Oh, that's nice.
so do you have a? I mean, these are absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And they're personalized, and there's no.
That's his
one-
actual signature.
Wow.
And I get that a lot. Like I'll get somebody who wants that their grandmother had she might like wrote "I love you always" or something like that, and then it's in her handwriting. That's off of a birthday card or whatever that somebody kept, and it was like the last time she ever wrote it. So they'll have that tattooed on them, which is sad, but
Sweet.
Yeah, it almost makes me regret my virgin skin right now. Do you have a?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing where you can see. I mean, I've been considering the piece that you did for a while, but you can see from looking at all of this why people are like, you can't just get one. Once
Yeah.
you get one tattoo,
Just keep
you're
going.
going to keep going.
Do you have any cover up?
oh yeah,
So instead of grabbing out your Dremel tool, if you have something,
please
right, or folks that are joining in, right now there's the Erase the Hate, and it's taking a tattoo and covering it up.
Can you repeat? Jennifer Hartley was asking again, when are the Erase the Hates? It's one Sunday a month?
We're gonna do. I think it's supposed to be the final Sunday of every month.
Okay.
Again, we're still waiting on people. As soon as we figure out
How many?
how many we've got, we're trying to keep it to about 4 people each month. So you have to come and get your tattoo looked at and see what we can do for you. Give us a couple ideas, and then we'll design a piece that we feel we can fit to cover your piece. And it still be cool and something kind of what you're looking for. It may not be exactly what you're looking for, but we're doing it for free. So we're trying to give you, a little flair of us, but with some parts of you. So and eliminate what's there.
Yeah, most importantly, right, Erase the Hate. So this is
The before.
Yep.
That is before. Was that a home tattoo? Woo!
That is what came after.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now,
you-
is there
Wait, could go back before and then after
Yeah.
again.
So is there an amount of time
This
that would have to be there before you could cover it
Oh
up?
no.
Just-
no.
It has to be healed, right?
It has to be
Yeah,
healed.
as long as it's healed.
This one here took 6 hits, so we had to go in 6 different times to cover that up correctly. Because a lot of the brighter colors kept on wanting to poke through.
Wow.
So
No,
Amazing.
and that's absolute. How long had she had the previous tattoo? Because that's two
Years.
such very different.
Years.
And
well,
that
the biggest
goes-
fight, the first time when she had this tattoo, it was like, I want no black. I don't want any black at all. Well,
Aw.
to cover it, unfortunately, we had to put black into it. There was no way of just covering it with color.
As a somebody of Eastern European descent, Hungarian, this has this it has some
does.
Hungarian feel, and then it shows the after again.
I mean, that's a different
Yeah,
person
just
there.
completely. Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
So then
All right, so there's your cover up, people. If you have tattoos that need revamped or covered up,
So you got
Matt,
one last one to show us
Thank you,
as
guy.
we're.
Okay, I'll do
I don't want to say make
I'll
a
do
good one
more.
because they're all good.
I'll do one more cover up piece.
Oh, one more cover up piece.
Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
this is a kind of before and after, side by side. They wanted to keep the flowers because they liked them. I changed the positioning of the skull itself, and I dropped some runes and stuff in there. I added some branches to kind of support the feather, to support the flowers. But this was another cover up that was done.
Wow. That's amazing. Was the first one supposed to be that?
It was
Faded looking?
it was kind of a softer skull
It was.
in there originally, but it just faded out so bad.
Wow.
Well, Matt, thank you for sharing your work and your evening with us. We are at King Crow Tattoo Social Club,
Yes.
and we're on the west side, not too far off of 480 and
Stearns and Crocker exit if you come up to Lorraine Road and you make a brain stutter a right off of 480. So take Stearns and Crocker, come up to Lorraine Road, make a right. You're going to go past the Sunoco gas station, the first plaza you see. We're in there. If anybody's been to Goddess Elite, we're in their plaza, so that's pretty much a big one everybody
Yeah.
knows.
And is Facebook better or website?
We
What's
have
the best way to?
well, we have Facebook, we have a website, we have the Google. Best bet is to contact us on Facebook.
message through Facebook.
Yep, just message us through Facebook. Send us an idea of what you're wanting, what you're looking at having drawn up. If you're wanting a cover up, come on up. Let us see what you're covering up. We can look at an image all day long, but we can't tell like if there's scarring or anything else in it that we really need to see before designing a cover up. So if there's any pieces that you just want to come in here and talk about and pick our brains and see what we can come up with for you, stop on by. We're here Monday through Saturday, noon to 8. So Sundays is by appointment only. So if you can't make it in those days, but you want to book an appointment, we're open on Sundays. You just have to book the appointment to get those days. So
Thank you, Zach at Jerky McJurgensen. Last week, and we gave away artwork early. You want to bring that right back around? I don't know if and the winner,
Jessica Snyder
Jessica Snyder,
won Zach's
Zach's
painting
work.
there.
For those who are sharing, next week we're going to be giving away the gift certificate to get some work done by Matt.
$60.
$60.
again, I may be willing to throw in a little bit more for the winner.
Yeah,
I
that's
might be
that's
registered in this one.
yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing kind of the stories. I mean, I have no tattoos, and so this is a cool place to be. I mean, it has a great feel to it. I know that your customers that were here before were having a fun time because I could hear them singing and whistling, and so obviously you have the gift both artistically and with people. Matt will be at the Maple Grove on Saturday as well. So if you're there to talk or
You gonna
talk
sing?
shop or connect, and Matt is not singing. Oh, by the way, if you're going on Saturday, this is not a singing required. So just
No,
come
it's
out and
not.
hang out.
The
Tip
people
back,
watching this.
I'll be in the no singing corner. Anyone
Yeah.
wants to join me?
tip back a cold one, a cold Pepsi or cold beer, and we'll meet then. It starts at 9. Well, actually, we're going to be there a little bit earlier than 9, but be there.
Karaoke
Yeah,
starts at
karaoke
9.
starts at 9. We'll be there 8:30. So we hope to see you there. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Matt. Please tell Harry we missed him, but thanks for letting us.
Come back anytime.
Yeah, here at King Crow. And guys, thank you for sharing.
John
Okay.
Passano says it's time to get some ink, Roger.
This is a peer pressure, but and I might bend to it. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll see you Saturday.